When a humble farmer walked into a luxury jet showroom, no one expected him to make a purchase, especially not the smug salesman who couldn't stop mocking him. But what happened next left everyone speechless. Before we dive in, welcome to the channel. If you're enjoying these kinds of stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Also, let us know where you're watching from in the comments. His clothes were simple, nothing flashy. A faded shirt, denim jeans, and boots that had clearly seen better days. Dust clung to the edges of his worn hat, as if he had just stepped off a long day's work from the field. He didn't look like the type of person you'd expect to walk into a showroom like this. But here's the twist. He wasn't just there to look. No, he had a goal, a surprising one. He was there to buy a jet, and the reason, well, that's what no one saw coming. The moment the farmer stepped in, the salesman raised an eyebrow. He couldn't hide his disbelief. Dressed in his sharp suit with a look of pure arrogance, he immediately sized up the farmer. His gaze swept over the worn clothes, the dusty boots, and he sneered, barely containing his laughter. "Can I help you?" he asked, his tone dripping with sarcasm. The salesman, still smirking, barely glanced at the farmer before turning back to his display. "We deal with serious buyers here," he said, his voice laced with condescension. "Not farmers." He waved his hand as if to dismiss the very thought of someone like him being able to afford such luxury. The farmer stood quietly, unfazed, but the salesman clearly saw him as nothing more than a joke. The salesman couldn't resist a chuckle. "A jet? You? You must be joking," he scoffed, shaking his head. "You'd be better off buying a tractor, not a plane." He leaned back, crossing his arms, clearly amused. "This is a place for serious buyers, not, well, people like you." He took a step back, looking the farmer up and down with a smug grin, as if to say, "You're not even worth my time." On one side you had the farmer, simple, grounded, his clothes worn from hard work. On the other, the salesman, sharp suit, polished shoes, and a confident swagger that screamed luxury. The farmer stood quietly, as if unaffected by the showroom's shiny displays. The salesman, however, couldn't have been more out of place in his judgment. Here, the farmer was the calm before the storm, and the salesman was the one missing the bigger picture. Despite the mocking laughter and the insulting remarks, the farmer didn't flinch. His eyes remained steady, his posture calm. He didn't argue, didn't raise his voice. Instead, he simply said, "I'm here to buy a jet." The salesman's grin faltered for just a second, but the farmer didn't seem to notice. He was as composed as ever, as if he'd faced far worse than this. The salesman, still unconvinced, raised an eyebrow. "You're really serious about this, aren't you?" he asked. The farmer nodded slowly, his voice steady. "I'm here to buy a jet because I've worked hard for it. I've spent years building a business, a farm that's grown from the ground up. My farm isn't just my livelihood, it's my future." He paused, letting the words sink in. "I need a jet to expand, to reach places I've never been before." The salesman blinked, taken aback. He hadn't expected this. His smug smile faded as reality set in. The salesman, still stunned, leaned in slightly, his arrogance fading. The farmer, noticing the shift, continued, "I'm not just a farmer. I've made smart investments, built partnerships, and now my business is worth more than most would ever imagine." He paused again, his eyes steady. "That's why I'm here." The salesman's face turned pale, realizing he had underestimated someone he'd dismissed as just a farmer. The salesman, still skeptical, shook his head. "I'm sorry, but we're talking about millions here. Are you sure you can—" Before he could finish, the farmer reached into his pocket and pulled out a sleek black card. "This is my bank card," he said calmly, sliding it across the counter. "It's got no limit." The salesman hesitated, then picked it up, eyes widening as he glanced at the numbers. The realization hit him hard. This wasn't a man to be mocked. The salesman's face drained of color as he looked at the card in his hand. His confidence melted away in an instant, replaced by a nervous smile. I'm so sorry," he stammered, straightening up. "I didn't realize." He cleared his throat, fumbling with his words. "I'm happy to assist you with anything you need, sir." The arrogance was gone, replaced by forced politeness. The farmer didn't respond, simply watching the transformation unfold, calm as ever. As the salesman scrambled to apologize, the farmer didn't say a word. But the lesson was clear. Never judge a book by its cover. You never know who might be walking through that door. Sometimes, the most unexpected people are the ones who hold the power and the key to success. The farmer stood there for a moment, letting the tension hang in the air. The salesman, now visibly anxious, waited, unsure of what would come next. Finally, the farmer spoke. "I came here to buy a jet," he said, his voice calm but firm. "But I'm not sure I want to do business with someone who judges people based on appearances." With that, he turned to leave. The salesman's mouth went dry, realizing that his behavior might just cost him the sale. In the end, the farmer's decision spoke volumes. It wasn't just about buying a jet, it was about respect, humility, and not letting others define your worth. The lesson? Never judge a book by its cover. You never know who might surprise you. So, what would you have done in his place? Would you have walked away, or given the salesman another chance? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. So, what's the real takeaway from this story? It's all about humility, respect, and the power of staying true to who you are. The farmer didn't need to prove anything to anyone. He simply let his actions speak. In a world where appearances often matter, remember? True strength lies in being yourself and respecting others, no matter who they are or what they wear. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever faced a situation where someone judged you based on your appearance? Or maybe you've learned a valuable lesson about not judging others. Share your experiences in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring tales. Don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss an update.